Welcome to the testing world. In this session, we are going to understand types of web services. We have two types of web services. One is SOAP services and other is REST services. So we are going to understand detail of these two services in this session. First, we will understand what is SOAP service. So SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. SOAP is itself a protocol which is going to use HTTP protocol to transfer the data between my machine and to the web server. Means whatever the request we are sending from my machine to the server and whatever the result we are receiving from the server to my machine, the data exchange will take place by using HTTP protocol. SOAP is a wrapper over the HTTP protocol. So in case of the SOAP services, we are going to use two protocols. One is SOAP and other one is HTTP. In SOAP services, message exchange between the service and the application means request and response exchange between my machine and the server. It will take place in the format of XML. So whatever the input we are going to send will be in the form of XML, and whatever the output we are going to get from the server, that will again in the form of XML. It's a standard way to develop the web service. It's an old way to develop web services. So it's a standard, conventional and heavy. Heavy means because we are sending a lot of data to the server, and in XML we have to pass the tags as well. Hope you know what is tag. So in SOAP we have to pass data as well as tag. For each data we have two tags as well, starting tag and end tag. I'll show you what do you mean by the tag. So we have starting tag and end tag. That's because we are sending a lot of data to the server, and again we are getting response from the server in the form of XML. So a lot of tags are coming to my machine from the server. So it's a heavy input as well as output. In SOAP services, we are going to use WSDL. It's a web service definition language file. We are going to understand this WSDL in the next slide. So to work on SOAP services, we need WSDL. We need to understand what do you mean by the WSDL, WSDL. So WSDL, WSDL stands for Web Service Description Language. It's a base file which is used to describe web service and how to access that. So it will be a file in which everything will be mentioned about the SOAP service, like what all the functionalities are provided by this web service, how we can access that web service, what kind of response we are going to get from the web service, what kind of input, or we can say request, we can send to the web service. So everything about the web service will be mentioned in this WSDL file. It is again a XML file, so this WSDL file again developed in the XML format. So to start testing on SOAP web services, the first requirement which we are having is this WSDL file. So we have to understand WSDL architecture. So in WSDL we have mainly four elements. One is types, which describe all the data types which used in the web service. So again, like any other programming language, in services as well, what are the different inputs we are going to get should have any specific data type. So all the data types which will be received in the input, or what all the data type which we are going to send in output, these data types will be mentioned in this type section. Messages, we can understand it like I'm going to receive a zip code. So zip code is a message. I'm going to return address line 1, address line 2, address line 3. So these address line 1, 2 and 3 are the messages. Means if I compare this with any programming language, so whatever the name of the variable we are giving, these are messages over here. Port type is the different operations which are supported by the web service. So different operations means my web service support, it can validate address, that is one operation. It can clean address, that is second operation. Or if you talk about the weather information, so it will give today's weather information, that is one service. It can forecast tomorrow's weather. It could be a second operation. So what all the operations is performed by the web service will be mentioned in this port type. And binding is the communication protocol which is used in the web service, so that will be mentioned in the binding. That's my WSDL file. I'm going to show you how does it look like. So that is one of the WSDL file, and here you can see we have 4 sections. One is the type. Here we can see the type, and then we have a lot of messages, so you can check, like one message name is get weather soap in, other message name is get weather soap out. So what all the messages are used are mentioned over here. If we go to the bottom, so we have seen, like in WSDL we have the type, we have messages, then we have operations. So here you can check, these are the operations. Like first operation is get weather, other operation is get cities by country. So what all the different operations will be performed by this web service is mentioned over here. So that's my WSDL file, and this is the file which we are going to use while testing SOAP services. Next type of service is REST service. REST is the other way to develop web services. REST uses HTTP or maybe other protocol which can perform the operations like get, post, put and delete. So in case of the REST services, we can use get, means we are picking some data, we are getting some data from the server. Post means we are posting some data to the server, posting new data to the server. Put means we are updating some data to the server, and delete means we are deleting some data from the server. So it's a new way to develop web services. It's a lightweight because it supports few formats which are very lightweight format, like it supports plain text, it supports JSON. So it's a lightweight format. It uses WADL. Like in SOAP services we have WSDL, in REST services we have WADL. It is Web Application Definition Language. REST itself is not a protocol, it's just a way it describes like how my client should interact with the server. REST stands for Representation State Transfer. Each of the functionalities which we can access by using REST services, we call it a resource. So I'm taking example of any text calculation web service which is providing different functionalities, like it can calculate income tax, it can calculate sales tax, service tax. All these functionalities, we call it a resource in REST services. Each functionality can be accessed by the URI. The advantage of the REST service is that rather than accessing the complete application, we can access only one functionality of the application, and each and every functionality can be accessed by the unique URI. In case of the SOAP services, we are getting WSDL, means we are accessing complete application. But in case of the REST services, if we want to access complete application, we can go to the WADL. We can use WADL. But if we want to access only particular functionality, only one functionality, we can use URI. One more very important feature of the REST services is that it supports a lot of formats. Means it supports HTML, XML, plain text, JSON, PDF, HTML and many other formats. So means we can send requests in these formats, we can receive the data from the server, we can receive response again in these formats. So advantage is that it is supporting many formats for the request and response. These are the few URIs which I'm going to show you. Again, I'll explain what is URI. So one application can have 100 functionalities. So if you want to access all the functionalities, we need WADL. WADL will bring all the functionalities, we can test it, we can use it. But if we want to test, if we want to use only particular functionality, in case of the REST services, we can access that functionality by using its URI. So these are the two URI of REST services. One URI is for getting all customer data, and other URI is to getting any customer data which is having the number, which is having ID 3. So I'll show you. That is the URI. That is a URI of one resource, one functionality which is provided by REST service. I'm just passing the customer ID. It is giving the specific customer data. But we can access one more URI. It will bring all customer data. So each functionality in REST service is called resource. Each resource can be accessed by using URI. So that's all we have for type of web services. Thanks for watching this video.
Hello friends, hope you are enjoying our videos. Here we have created a lot of video courses which are specially designed for software testers. This is the list of our courses. We have more than 30 unique courses which you can buy in $200. If you want to buy any 10 courses, you can take it in $100, and you can buy any individual course in $15. You can contact us on email or the number which I have provided for these videos.